All right, so I had a couple questions come my way about Khan Academy and how you can use the assignment scores. So if you have assignment scores, that means you've gone through the assignment assigning tab and you're good with that. So going to the scores tab over on the left, first thing you're going to get is just kind of a blanket picture of everything, all the information that's in there. So first thing that you're going to notice is these check marks. I do not trust those too much. Some kids have watched the video and the check marks don't show up. Basically, if they close the browser before the video completely finishes, it doesn't give them a check mark. So it's only a check mark if they're on their very beginning through very end and it has to finish and stop the video for them. So again, sometimes those are left blank. The score column, though, is where you can get the information. Now, with this, up here you can choose, which assignments you want to see. So if you just want the stuff that's due today to narrow the view down, you can close that down so it's just that material. You can open it up within the last 7 days and so on. It's really just whatever you want to look at. Now within these, first thing you're going to notice the score written down for the students. So in this one I have some hundreds, some 75s, and some 50s. So the 100 is pretty obvious. They've got everything correct on that. Did a great job with that. I can click on that particular student's score. All right, and in that score, it's going to take me over here. We'll see, they did 4 problems. They got them all right on the first try, and that was on their last attempt. And if I click to first attempt's the same, and that's why they're at the score they're at. Now, if I take another student, let's go with this 75 here. On that 75, if I click that, and I look at their individual score report, I'm going to notice that it looks like they got all 4 correct, and that's on the last attempt. So a lot of times I'll jump in and I'll look here, because if the kid did it twice and they're getting them all right on the second try, I'd rather give them the 100% than a 75. If I jump back to their first attempt, they got 3 out of the 4 correct, which is going to be the 75% as you look at that. All right, and then last is what happened on the last run through. So again, if we're looking at did they spend the time and learn how to do the problem, that last attempt is going to be the one that's probably going to be the most useful for us. Now, if I jump down here to one of the lower scores, like the 50%, you'll notice even on that, occasionally you'll have somebody who missed a lot on the first go. All right, so on the last attempt here, there was 2. On the first attempt, there was also 2. So this student really, they just did it once, is what that basically boils down to. Now, jumping back to the score screen, occasionally you will see a 50% where the student did it the first time, got like a 50%, and then they did it again, and they got them all right that second time. So again, it depends on what you're looking for and what you're trying to represent. This was a 50%, and if you notice on the last attempt, they got them all right on the first try. But on their first attempt, they only got 2 out of the 4. So to me, that's a student that I'd want to give the 10 out of 10 for this one, especially since it's a homework. Now, as far as using this, again, you can jump in on individual ones. One big thing that I do from a day-to-day standpoint is I'll go up here to the top tab on assignment. So this first one, area of composite shapes. If I click on that, what I'm going to notice is over on the left-hand side of the screen, it gives me most missed questions. All right, so I've got most missed questions here. Find the area of the shape below. Over on the right, it gives me the responses that students gave. Now that's going to allow me to kind of problem solve a little bit what mistakes were being made. Now I have every student getting different problems, so not every student saw this exact problem, but they did see similar. But I did have 6 students miss it. So this would be one I would snip, put in my OneNote notebook, and I would make a most missed problem screencast that talks through the solution to this one. And again, I can also take a look at these. There's some hints over here. These are the hints that the kids could get if they followed through the hints. They don't get it as a correct answer if they do that, but they can use those hints. Those are some of the main things that I do. So typically I'll run through, if I'm putting this in the gradebook, I'll run down a column like area of composite figures. I'm going to enter all the 100% first. Then I actually just jump back in and I tap on the ones that aren't 100% and I see what the breakdown was, and then I give them a score based on that. That's the main way that I enter it in the gradebook. I tell any students if they turn it in after the date or go back and redo one after the due date, just send me an email and I go back in and I'll switch the grade for that. I just need them to tell me to go take a look for it. That's pretty much how I go through and use it. and it's really kind of been helpful. It's also, I've had some students that have been motivated to go back and fix some things that they maybe struggled with at first. So that's the run through. Hope that helps. Let me know if you got any questions.